This is getting worrying. Liverpool have some of the most in-form attacking players in the league. Salah, Jota, Gakpo, all playing unbelievably well. Not to mention some of the best technicians in world football behind them with McAllister and Gravenberch. But one man stands above the rest and seems to have found his spark again, and that is Luis Diaz. Today we're going to talk about how we made it to this point and if Luis Diaz can reach another level and even possibly reach the heights of his predecessor Sadio Mane. Diaz might be in flying form right now, but have we not seen this already? He came in the January transfer window in 2022 to bolster a team that was going for the quadruple, and boy did he make an impact. He was one of the main reasons Liverpool did so well that year and why we got so far in all the competitions, winning the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. He was playing so well at the time that Mane, who was our natural left winger, was moved to striker. He scored big goals in the quarter-final and semi-final against Benfica and Villarreal to help Liverpool get to a Champions League final against Madrid. He's such a throwback player in the world of system footballers that we get. Someone who just wants to pick up the ball and dribble with it. A player that loves the ball at his feet and you pay the admission money alone to go see him. Even Gary Neville was impressed after seeing his performances for Liverpool when they signed him first. Luis Diaz, I saw him for the first time live at the Carabao Cup final. I couldn't believe what I was watching for a player who had just entered English football. He was absolutely sensational. And Neville was right. He was just one of those typical Liverpool signings that nobody knew how he was going to perform when he came to the Premier League. Well, Diaz was delivering and he was pushing some of the best forwards in world football to up their game. Klopp knew he had a player, and the day of the semi-final against Manchester City, when Liverpool went 3-0 up at half-time, Diaz was electric that day. I will never forget how good he was performing on that day. He played against Cancelo, and we know Cancelo defensively isn't the best, but at the time he was one of the best fullbacks in the world, and Diaz ran him ragged. And since then he's even done the same thing to Walker, obviously last season when he absolutely played him off the pitch. Coming to the end of that semi-final, Diaz was taken off just before full time and he was roared off the pitch by applause. Liverpool, eventually, we all know what happened. We lost out on the Premier League on the final day of the season and the Champions League, losing 1-0 to Real Madrid. But Diaz impressed everyone that season. Liverpool fans were optimistic. A quadruple charge. Diaz, Jota, Mane, Salah, Firmino. The future of Liverpool was looking very bright, and I was like anyone else. I'm just a fan at the end of the day. I was very excited for what was to come. However, that was not what we got. Disaster struck. Lucho and Liverpool just carried on the form that we had from the previous season, so optimism was pretty high. Diaz scored 2 goals against Bournemouth in a match-breaking 9-0 win. Honestly, if you had asked a lot of Liverpool fans back then, they all would have said that we were going to go on and win the league, because the forward line that we had, Van Dijk, Kanate was in the team then, Alisson, like, the team was unbelievable. Obviously, you have to beat City to win a league, which is nearly impossible. And Liverpool are the only team to do it in the last 7 years. But the optimism was so high. But Liverpool played against Arsenal at the Emirates, and Diaz picked up a bad injury. Someone just falling on him. It was just a mad injury to pick up, and it ruled him out for the majority of the season. Without Diaz, Liverpool went on to finish 5th. Whether he had been there, we might have been able to kick on and potentially get top 4. Remains to be seen, but overall that season was just a write-off. Liverpool lacked energy, passion, anything you would ask from a Liverpool and a Klopp side. Liverpool did not have it. Diaz then comes back last season and optimism was high, as any Liverpool fan would have high optimism with Jurgen Klopp at the helm. But Diaz just could not find his form again, and you need to take that with a pinch of salt, because obviously he was coming back from a very long injury and the issues that happened with his dad getting kidnapped in Colombia. Even after his dad was returned safely, that would still play on someone's mind, and I think for the season as a whole, he just struggled to find his form that we all know he's capable of. He finished with 8 goals and 5 assists in 37 games, and to be regarded as an elite level winger at Liverpool, those numbers need to be at least double. At least double. Some patience was running out for Liverpool fans, and you can understand it. You have a player there with unbelievable ability, and he's just not clinical enough in the big situations. Obviously, the game against Man City when he missed the one-on-one, a lot of Liverpool fans looked to that situation and said, he should be scoring that goal. If he scores that goal, Liverpool could potentially go on and win the league. There was obviously the talk of Liverpool signing Anthony Gordon in the summer. Barcelona had interest in Diaz, which was reported by some of the news outlets, and Liverpool fans were thinking maybe we could get a swap deal. And I had said this on videos before, Diaz and Gordon are 2 very separate players. Newcastle play on the counter-attack. Diaz is having to play in a Liverpool team where he's getting a lot of ball. Liverpool have a lot more momentum and teams sit in against them. Diaz is the type of player you want in those situations, not Anthony Gordon. I'd be interested to know your thoughts too in the comments. Did you want Diaz gone in the summer? Do you think that he was going to be able to reach the level that he has so far this season? And if you did want him to stay, did you know that this potential was in him? Because a lot of Liverpool fans were writing him off. But luckily for Liverpool fans, he stayed. And he seems to have this new level of fear factor back in his game, which is revitalised under Slot. And it looks like he's ready to take his game to a new level. But this is where we're at. At time of recording, Liverpool have played 6 games, won 5, lost 1, and sit top of the Premier League. Diaz scored 5 goals, 1 assist in 6 games. He is playing incredible. But it's not just the numbers that make him so good. There's one game in particular that highlights why Diaz might explode this season, and that was against Manchester United. You might have picked up on this already, I'm sure most people have, but Arne Slot likes to play a different type of philosophy to Jurgen Klopp. And this has worked to perfection against Manchester United. Slot wants his 2 wingers to be high and wide, even when Liverpool are on the press. If a team tries to play through them, he wants the midfielders, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, to be on their toes and win the ball back. It's one of the reasons why Gravenberch has been so incredible this season. He leads Liverpool with recoveries and interceptions, and he sets Liverpool on their way to get the ball and score goals. As Slot wants Diaz and Mo high, it inevitably leaves them one-on-one when Liverpool turn the ball over. And when you have players like Diaz in one-on-one situations, he's going to get goals, he's going to get assists. Whereas before, he might have been pushing back, he might have been working hard, and Mo would have likely been the one that was left up top on his own. It's a risk, of course it is, but that doesn't mean that Diaz and Salah don't have to work hard. We've seen that against United. They were able to stay high up the pitch, and even Diaz nicked the ball off Casemiro, which set Liverpool on the way to getting the second goal. But the big thing is Diaz is now getting the ball in situations where he can impact the game. Diaz in one-on-one situations is going to be one of the best players in world football. No doubt about it. The criticism levelled at Diaz is he's not clinical enough. And you can understand it to a certain extent. But if he's in those situations consistently, that will start to improve. Like it has done for Salah. Salah is not someone that you would say is the best finisher in world football. He's not like an Aguero where he gets one chance, he gets a goal. Sometimes Salah will miss 1 or 2 before he gets that goal. And Diaz will be like that as well. He's going to maybe take 1 or 2 opportunities to get a goal. But when he's in those situations consistently, like Salah has been previously, he'll start to get the numbers that we want him to get. But so far, this season, it looks like he's back to his pre-injury form, and Liverpool fans are rightly excited, as am I. Salah, for as good as he can be, will have mixed performances because of his age. He'll be incredible one day and he'll be terrible the next. So we're going to need players like Diaz, Gakpo, Jota, all to step up when that happens. And Diaz in particular, he's been there with this Liverpool team. He knows what it takes to go far in competitions. So if he can keep the level that he's at, Liverpool are going to be in a very good position come the end of this season.